We're going to get started. All right, thanks everyone for joining us for this feature release preview. This is quarter one of 2024, so happy new year to everybody. Hopefully everybody's off to a great start. We're surely excited about this update and a bunch of new cool stuff coming out this year. We've got big plans for eManage. So thanks for joining us to kind of review what we've got going on. As always, please keep yourself muted unless you have a question. Unmute yourselves or feel free to use the chat room. Some of you are already using the chat room. That's awesome. I've got a couple of fellow coworkers kind of keeping an eye on that for me. Otherwise, I'll try to look down every now and then and take a peek. As always, administrators, if I have any administrators in the room, as soon as you get the update, the first thing you should do is go to the help menu and download your default grid layouts. Remember, if we have uploaded any grid layouts from our end and we want to share them with you, some dealers share their grid layouts and we're like, oh, that's awesome. We're going to put that out there for everybody. In order to access those, you want to make sure that you download those default grid layouts. Only has to be done once by one administrator, but it never hurts if a couple of admins are doing it. Just make sure it gets done. Cool. All right, let's get started. So first things first, some new features. This is an exciting one. We are releasing in this next update OFS web services. That means for you who order from OFS, you're going to have a web service menu item in the web services at the top of your toolbar there, and you can access that. There is some setup involved, so it is documented in the help guide already. So as soon as this update comes out, if you order from OFS, I would encourage you as an administrator to go in, or if you're a non-administrator sitting in this meeting, encourage your administrator to go in and set that up for you guys. Because what this means is now we're going to be able to seamlessly connect, just like with some of our Hayworth dealers, Herman Miller, H&I, some of those manufacturers that have their own portal that you have to go into and upload orders to. We're going to now have that button, that feature directly within eManage. So we're going to be able to directly upload orders from eManage to OFS with a click of a button. Again, there is some setup involved. So please, please, please go check out that help guide section. I'm going to point it out at the end of this session where to get that information so that you all have access to get in there and set that up. This also is going to come with some vendor acknowledgements, downloadable vendor acknowledgements. So you'll just go in, again, seamlessly. You're going to be able to click a button and just bring those acknowledgements in from OFS. So anybody who experiences, most of us have experienced manual vendor acknowledgements entry, going in, putting in the acknowledgement number, putting in the ship date, putting in verifying pricing and finishes. All of that is going to be with OFS now, a click of a button, and it'll just download and acknowledge for you. We're also available is vendor bills from OFS, so automated bill retrieval. Again, a click of a button and those bills will automatically apply to your projects or your orders. Pretty exciting stuff. I know that we're also talking about doing shipment notifications at some point. It's not available yet, but we are looking into that. So very, very exciting stuff. I know a lot of dealers, even when you're, a Hayworth dealer or a Herman Miller dealer, we still order some product through OFS. This is going to really improve your efficiencies, reduce errors, seamless clicking of buttons to just download this stuff right into eManage. Got a couple of questions coming in. OFS services, do they work with Space Saver? I assume you mean our Space Saver dealers, of course. As long as you have it set up with OFS, you've got a dealer number and all of that good stuff with OFS, and you set it up in eManage, you're going to be able to access that. It's accessible from any dealer. Anybody who has eManageONE is going to be able to go in and activate this web service for this automated order processing and acknowledgements and vendor bills. Put another question in. Are you going to be setting up other vendors like OFS? If so, which ones? Oh boy. Yes. I mean, we're open to speaking with any manufacturer that has this available. We got to push our manufacturers to do so. A lot of our manufacturers are still doing some of the old school way. You got to send in a purchase order. I would say maybe the majority of them that we work with, you've got to send a purchase order over. If any of your vendors that you're working with have a portal that you go into, a website that you go into, and you're uploading a CIF or an XML file, we want to talk to them. So let us know who you have that type of service set up with, and we'll get the conversation started for sure. Okay. We want to have this for all of our manufacturers. It's just that the manufacturers have to drive it first, and then we just link it up. So it's not really from our end. I got a comment in about AIS. Marisa, if you'll make a note for me about AIS. Awesome. We'll reach out.
No problem.
Thanks, Eden. Thanks, Marisa. Any other questions before I move on from OFS? Parts go cool. Yeah, we'll jot some of these down and start reaching out. That's awesome. I know if you experience web services, you're gonna you want all of your manufacturers to do this. It's pretty awesome. It really reduces the amount of time that we're spending processing orders and adding acknowledgments and stuff. Got quite a few vendors coming into the chat room, which is great. Keep them coming. Shoot me an email directly if you don't chat it in right now and you think of somebody later. Don't hesitate to reach out to me via email and let me know who you've got that type of setup with, and we'll get the conversation started. Cool. All right, moving on. Some additional new features that were added, or some tweaks that we're adding to the system. Some big grid updates. Just so everyone's aware, we're looking at doing this throughout the entire program. I know most of you all know what I mean by grids, right? If you don't, that's when you get into eManage and you see list of data, columns, row headers, kind of looks like Excel. You see rows and columns. Those are what we call grids. And what we're doing is getting ready to update them to a more user-friendly feel. It's better technology, but it is going to take us some time to convert all of them. And what this means for you guys is we're going to be able to save grid layouts easier. If anybody in the room knows what I'm talking about with the little red button in the bottom right corner and clicking grid functions, or going over and clicking save, and all the minutia, the hoops that we have to jump through to save different views of our data. Depending on how you need to slice and dice it. Sometimes we create filters and we want to save that filter, that view, to show us certain information. Those are grid layouts. And what we're doing is updating it so it's just so much more user-friendly. You're going to be able to save layouts much, much easier. It's also going to enhance some of the performance as well. So two that we've gotten started on, if you'll notice it in the OFS web services for one. But if you've done anything in the punch list module inside of the desktop application, that's the new grid that we're coming out with in all of the grids. But the two new ones that I want to highlight today is one in the human resources module. If you're not using this, we're working on making it better. So I would encourage you to start getting some of that set up. Not to count that it highly affects some of your job costing and the time clock and all the things. So check out the human resources section in the help guide. Get some of that set up because it's looking really cool. But you're going to notice that the layout looks a little bit different. What you're going to also see in some of the newer ones is at the very top here, if you can see my screen, the very top here, there's a little enter text to search. You can actually just start typing in there to narrow down the results. So something that comes with this new update of the grid layouts is being able to filter down very quickly rather than clicking the filter icon and hitting, uncheck all and check everything. Quickly just start typing and you can get to the results that you're looking for quickly. So you'll see that search functionality in the new human resources grid. Just some of the functionality to review if you are in there, just knowing how to get around it and how to actually move around in the window. The double click, as usual, it's a pretty standard practice. When you double click something, it opens up. That's going to be the same thing in the human resources, or you can highlight it and click open at the top. So whichever you're more comfortable with. A lot of people like these toolbars to see what your options are, but we will have some quick tools at the top of these toolbars as well. So just double click to open it up. You'll also be able to just make some adjustments directly in the grid. When you highlight it, there's some adjustments that you can make, I think, directly in the grid. Okay, so just some user interface changes. We think that it's going to definitely improve as far as the user friendliness goes. Same thing in the documents. However, with the documents, I know you all know that sometimes the performance can be a little bit slow in the documents, especially when you start adding a whole lot of very large documents. With this change also comes a performance enhancement. So we're really excited to see some of that feedback from the documents change. It's going to look different. So it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment, but again, we're going to be able to do things a little bit easier, more user friendly. So saving the grid layouts are easier as well. Just so everybody's aware, because you're going to play with these, I'm sure, but we're going to have this all documented as well in the help guide. But you'll see when you open up the documents window after the update goes out, by default, your grid favorites, or what we are used to in the old setup. Now it just says grid layouts. It's going to automatically open. It will always remember your last state. So if you don't want that open, you don't want that exposed, just hit that little triangle, that little tiny toolbar right there, and it'll close up and it'll remember that you want it that way. If you open it back up, it's going to remember that you want it opened. But what this is going to do is allow you just to start typing what you want the name to be. Ravi, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe, yeah, I'm gonna have to ask about that actually. How do we name them? Oh, that's right. When you hit the save button, so when you hit the save button right here, I think it prompts you to save it, to type in a name and save it. So rather than clicking the red button and going over and backspacing it out and retyping it and hitting the save button, you're just going to get a pop-up, way more user-friendly, guides you a little bit easier. Hit that save button and you can save a new layout. And then of course, all of your layouts will just show up right here. So you can toggle back and forth between different layouts or views of that data. So that's going to be really, really new for everyone. Going to take a little bit getting used to, but I promise you're going to like it. And then of course we have the quick tools at the top, just like with I'm assuming that you can see my mouse open. Cool, Ravi's putting in some stuff to the chat, so make sure you take a peek at that. Awesome, yeah, it'll guide you. You can make it public, company default, but much, much more user-friendly. Same thing with the human resources, right? You can see this one, I kind of have like multiple layouts. I've in this database that we're looking at here, you see active installers, so it's filtered down to installers terminated. So you can create these different layouts to toggle back and forth between. So the panel is going to pop out over here on the left, and that's how we save layouts. But additionally, the toolbars at the top, you'll see the toolbar up here for some options of what you can do inside of that window or that grid. Same thing with the documents. Now you can search. Love this feature. If you're looking for a specific document, maybe you're looking for, I don't know, OFS vendor quote or something of the sorts. Just start typing OFS there and it'll just filter down to all your documents with OFS in that document name. Pretty cool stuff here. Lastly, with this, another new feature, not really connected to the grid layouts, but oh, cool. Thank you, Ravi. Also, an additional feature with the documents. Oh, I think everybody's going to love this. It's very small, but hopefully you can see my cursor highlighting right here. Move to another project. You accidentally upload a document to the wrong project. The best practice typically was mark a line through that document and upload it to the new upload it to the new project. I got a big open mouth face there. I love it. Yeah, simply just highlight your document in the grid, start typing your project number in this drop down here. It'll show a list of results. You'll highlight the result that you want, so the project you want to move the document to. And what it does is it's going to make a copy of it. So automatically, it's going to make a copy of it on the new project, but it'll also automatically mark it out as not current. Now, so that's all that it's more automated, right? So it's going to do that for you. However, it will just remain as not current unless you also have your administrator delete documents with a retention date. Okay, I'll talk to that a little bit more at the end of the session when I go open up the help guide and show you some documentation on this because you're going to want to know about it. But what it does is it will automatically give it a retention date of today. So then your administrators can go in and say, delete all documents with a retention date of, whatever date. Or there might be a date range. I'll have to confirm that when I get to the help guide. But anyway, the idea is now we can, rather than marking it as not current, re-uploading it, we're just removing that manual task and forgetting to mark it as not current, all the things. We're moving so fast. So use that move to another project. We'll have it documented in the help guide and let us know how that's going. Totally new feature. So give us some feedback on that. Right, before I move on to the next slide, just letting you guys soak that information in. If there's any questions, I can always come back to it. All right, additional new features in the administrator app, in users. The top toolbar where we usually see the user drop down, no longer going to be there. Don't freak out, okay? When you get into the administrator application, we're very used now. I think we're kind of retraining our brain to these different this different user interface that we're kind of rolling with in eManage. We're trying to keep everything nice and uniform and consistent. That was kind of complicated, that top drop down, that toolbar. So we've gotten rid of that, and all we've done is add the user list underneath the users here. So to get to your users, you're just going to click on the user list right there, and it's going to pull it up in more of a grid view, a grid layout, all of your users listed out. Okay, so you'll see what type of user they are they enabled, are they not enabled? You get to see a lot more at a bird's eye view, but then you can simply just highlight it and you'll get some options of some things you on the fly. You need to just change, I don't know, username or email address. Are they enabled or not enabled? You can do that quickly right there, or double click and open it up. You know what this means for us now is we can actually open two users side by side, and we can compare and contrast against two different users, which is kind of exciting, having two users side by side. Sometimes we're trying to make sure that our user rights are all lined up with a new employee. That's what those rights profiles are for, really good starting places. But sometimes we have some exceptions and we need to give or take away certain rights after their profile has been assigned to them. So being able to compare side by side is really cool. Again, the saving of the grid layouts, a whole lot easier. Okay, became a whole lot easier, more user-friendly. And then we have that toolbar at the top as well. So some quick changes that you need to make. Just highlight the user and you can click change password. Refresh, we're adding those refresh buttons everywhere in the system. That's been a major wish list item throughout. If there's one that's really bugging you, you really want, send those in. Let us know, okay? But we're changing them as we change these grids, of course, as well. And update to the newer interface, user interface. New user button. So when you have to open up the user list and click new user. Okay, again, double click on the user or highlight, hit open, just like the human resources. Okay. Letting that soak in. Got some, this is cool, which I love to hear. All right, also with the human resources, we're going to now allow multiple supervisors to be selected in an employee record. The whole employee manager, human resources employee manager, we just went over that. It's changed, right? So this form has also changed. When you double click on an employee, Ace here works for e-manageONE, cutie tootie. But when we double click on a user, we can set up some additional information for that user, right? So this one specifically about the supervisors, multiple supervisors, right? Sometimes, we have 5 different sets of supervisors and they can supervise multiple people. All 5 supervisors can be over multiple people. And what this is doing is affecting the mobile app. So for my cloud users on the call, you're now going to be able to, if we set this up properly, when you go to clock in somebody, and I go to clock in, it gives me who I actually supervise, and I can clock in multiple people at one time with one click of a button, clock in all, or just clock in 2 people. Okay, but if you're a supervisor of those installers, mobile app portion, sorry, the backup coming out shortly. It's not out yet. The mobile app update for this is not out yet, but we're getting ready for it, right? So go in and set this stuff up in the actual desktop application so you're prepared and ready for it when the mobile app release does come out. Thank you, Ravi. All right, keep it moving. Got some additional new features here. Herman Miller dealers who are on the call, there's a spot for your dealer seller number. We're being told that mid-February that this is going to be required on all essentials contract orders, or it will be denied. So go in and set this up now, right? Unless Ravi tells me no. But yes, go in and set that up. It's underneath the salesperson drop down. So for my administrators, go into your drop down setup in the administrator application, go down to salespeople, highlight the salesperson, and put in that dealer seller number. Sure, you all know what I'm talking about. Again, documented in the help guide. All right, another addition in the parts sold search, which we do have on our radar to look at overhauling a little bit. So this is just a little addition before we get to that bigger project. There is a toggle now at the top for your parts sold search analysis. This is under the analysis menu. You want to go in and analyze your parts sold based off of your BOM or your purchase orders. This is your part sold search analysis. There's a toggle at the top that says BOM items now. By default, it goes to master parts. So you're analyzing your parts based off of the master parts list. But with a quick click of a button, you can analyze it based off your BOM items. So this is helpful for like those miscellaneous furniture parts that sometimes we add to our bill of materials, and we override it and we put, black chair from Wayfair, and we override that miscellaneous part. If you want to analyze based on that type of information, just flip that to BOM items. Okay, cool. Ravi just confirmed in there for my Herman Miller dealers. If you need to know more about that, check that chat out. Sales goals. Again, the mobile app is not out yet. This update isn't out. That's being affected by this new feature. But again, set it up now so that when that mobile app update comes out, we're ready to go. If you have not looked at the sales goals in the administrator application, I would encourage you to do so. We are looking at some new day planner items for it. There's a dashboard out there for it already. And what we're doing is going to be adding dashboards to the mobile app. So when you log into the mobile app, you're going to see a new icon here at the top coming up here pretty soon called dashboard. And you can click in there. And now not only can you create, so the new feature that's actually come out outside of the mobile app communicating with the desktop app, the new feature that's coming out is the opportunity goals. So if you played with sales goals and you know about the sales goals already, you can go in and set up monthly or annual goals for your salespeople. But now we've added, so sales goals is connected to your bookings, right? Op goals is your opportunity, your forecast, right? Do you want your salespeople to be hitting a certain level or of open opportunities? You want them to always have this much in the funnel. That's what opportunity goals are, if I understand correctly. So pretty cool feature there. Go set that up for your salespeople. Set up their sales goals and their opportunities goals, and you're going to see that in the mobile app update coming out pretty soon. Some cool little visual metrics for my owners and higher level management. This is so cool every morning to just open this up and take a peek at where you're sitting and where your salespeople are sitting. So neat feature there. Cool. Some enhancements. Oh, everybody's going to love this. We're working on different areas where this is needed, but specifically, we all know that the quote settings takes a minute to load. And is it working or is it not working? Double click, double click. All my happy clickers hitting that quote settings button. It will tell you, please wait, please wait, and it will open up. It takes a minute because it's converting everything from that bill of materials, that quote. It's reading the customer information. It's reading the salesperson. It's gathering a lot of information that we've input up to this point. So it does take a minute to load, but now we can all see that it's actually loading and not second guess ourselves if we clicked it or didn't click it and have 6 windows to close out of. Okay. Additionally, an enhancement we came out with is just a small one, just so everybody's aware. This little plus sign when you're in like a company record or you see anywhere that we have these little address field boxes, you hit this little plus sign. This is an add quick company form. Previously, this did not match our standard layout. You know, we always do zip first because it takes the zip and tells us what the city, the state, the tax rate, the county is. This was all backwards. So we've just matched that to line up correctly. I always say, you know, tread carefully when you're doing this little plus button. I prefer to go the long form, but if you're in a hurry and you need to get something done quickly, that little plus button can be nice and handy to just click and add a new bill to for a company record. Okay, but just know that the one thing here is that we forget about is going in and marking who the primary salesperson is and the credit that they're allocated. So one little tiny step that it misses. So just tread carefully there. Oh, that's I'll let Ravi speak to that one, Rick. Okay, additional enhancements here. Added project manager field, super simple one. When you open up a company record and you want to look at the projects for that company record, we've added a project manager field. Request that came in and oh, super easy to do. So we just added that in. Another big one, enhancement here, last enhancement, I believe, is the email form has been updated. The actual editor itself has been updated, so it's going to look a little bit different. Not crazy different, but it does look a little bit different. So hopefully that's a little bit more user friendly. I think it might affect the actual performance as well. But now we can also copy and paste images directly in our email box. Love this feature. Before, inside of your actual email body, if you copied an image, I don't know, from the web or the PDF or whatever it might be, you can paste it directly into the email body now. And then we've also added a high importance checkbox. So when you send an email, we all know what that is, I'm sure. So cool little enhancement, small, but can be nice. Yeah, cool. Yay on the copy paste. Yeah, it's a good one. All right, last slide here, and then I'm just going to wrap us up with where you can get all this documentation. I'm not going to go through this whole thing. I'll go through a couple of big ones. Some of the issues resolved. We're always working on squashing some bugs as we add these additional features and enhancements. We're simultaneously working on resolving issues. So keep those coming. If you do have any issues, let us know at the help desk. But some issues resolved here. There was a character count max in the scope builder of the project information module that's been increased. Some of you have some crazy large scope builders inside the project information, so hopefully that helps. A couple of accounting things. The paid on date's minimal, but the accrued liabilities, if you're not using accrued liabilities, I think now is the time to definitely do it. I think we've worked through some of the bugs and it's working, seems like it's working great. Talk to us about it. I know it's scary to make changes on the accounting side, but this is huge. When we talk about the manual entry that we do in accounting, let's let the system do what it does best and let's do some automated journal postings, right? So accrued liabilities, that feature is documented very nicely in the health guide. Go take a peek at that. That's your unbilled cost. So when you're doing a customer invoice and you want to post what you expect to go out as far as costing side goes, it will make an automated journal entry, and then of course reduce it and add it to the proper general ledger account when we do the actual vendor bill that comes in maybe a little bit later than we expected. So take a peek at that feature in the help guide if you're not using that. Anybody in accounting that sees this, I'd highly recommend you take a peek at that. As far as purchasing goes, scope builder, character count increase, an acknowledgement module refresh after changes. You make changes to an acknowledgement, it's going to refresh the top section. There was a manual refresh that you had to do, close out, get back in. That should be taken care of. And then my Hayworth dealers, you got the send as new PO option back available. Some miscellaneous ones there. And then inventory, some major inventory ones. Again, another feature, if you're not taking advantage of inventory, I'd highly encourage you to start reading up on that and getting some stuff set up. I have been getting some requests for an inventory webinar. I think what I'm going to do for sake of getting it out sooner than later, because this update has so many inventory fixes, we're going to do a video on it and we'll just post it to our YouTube channel. We'll send out an email blast and it'll walk you through step by step how to handle inventory in eManageONE. Okay, but lots of bug fixes there that we're definitely holding some people back from fully adopting it, but I think it's ready to go now. We need people to use it and we need people to give us feedback so that we can make sure everything's all lined out. All right, I'll give you guys a few minutes to kind of download that, soak it in. Hopefully you guys are excited about what we've got coming out. Yay on inventory enhancements, Mark. Thank you. But really quickly, before I let you guys go, as always, inside of your regular eManage application, check out the help guide. Okay, this is for you. It's not for us, it's for you. So if you're not using it and it's not helpful, we'll stop updating it. Okay, if you like it, let's use it. Okay, but here, OFS web services, I just start typing OFS, boom, OFS web services, whole section on that, what it is, how to set it up, how to use it. Okay, super straightforward. I talked a little bit about, I don't know, the accrued liabilities. Start typing accrued liabilities. Okay, there's a whole section on that. So please use this help guide for anything that you're not sure about when it comes out in the update. Go check out the help guide first. Then if you can't find what you're looking for, absolutely go to send a help request. Okay, this is our help desk. I want to encourage you guys to suggest your improvements. Here's where you can get technical support, suggest a new feature, training request, okay? Give us your ideas. We're reviewing these on a weekly basis and deciding is it good or is it not good? And we've got some things that are in this update because you guys are letting us know that this would be cool, right? So please use this help center. It's really helping us see what you guys need, where we're falling short, and it's been really helpful on our end. So hopefully you guys are finding help with that as well. And then lastly, if you, I didn't go over everything in this release. So if you're wanting to know what's out in this release, after it's been pushed out, which I did just get a comment on when it's supposed to come out, we are starting to roll it out Monday of next week. Okay, but check out after you get the update, go to your release notes, click on this link at the top, and it'll take you to not only the release notes, but some of them that require a bit more explanation will have links directly connected to it, to the help guide, to guide you through that change or feature or improvement. Okay, so check those out, read through all of your release notes so you know what to expect, what's coming out, and so you can get in there and be efficient. Cool. Got one question coming in. Otherwise, keep your questions coming if you feel like you got what you needed out of it. Thanks for joining us. Off topic, any more discussions on developing a users group? And an undo button. Users group is still in the works, Mark. If you go to our website right now, you can see we're kind of starting to build it and get ready for it, but we are going to be calling it, I believe, One Community, right? eManageONE, One Community, where our dealers can connect with each other, share best practices, share, ask questions like, how are you guys doing this? And connect directly to everybody who's using eManage rather than going through us. You can kind of more of like a forum. You can go in there and be in like kind of like a chat area and maybe share best practices and your knowledge and whatnot. So yeah, that's still in the works. An undo button. I don't have anything on that one. We have to talk specifically about where we would want that at. I don't know if we would put it in all the windows or what. In a lot of areas, you can hit control, what is it? Z? No. Anyway, undo and BOM. Yeah, I would love that. We're doing a complete bill of materials dive this year, as far as I'm aware. So when that does come up, Todd's seconding Jenny's undo and BOM, Michaela undo and BOM. I hear you. I want lots of things in the BOM, so we'll be sure to discuss that when we do revisit that this year. If anybody else has any ideas or suggestions about how we can make the bill of materials more user friendly outside of an undo button, please shoot me an email, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. My idea was to make it more like spec or 2020 worksheet, like where you have something that we're used to, looking at, but it's got to be revisited. There's so much to that window that it's really difficult to determine like how do we adjust it to make it more user friendly when there's so many features to it that just allows you to do so much. Yeah, see, Robbie? Got lots of people. Yes, yes, Stephanie, good idea. When we hear it from you guys, it means so much more. So shoot me some emails. Let me know what you think about the bill of materials and how we might redesign it. And we can talk about it internally with our development team and our staff. Love that. All right, next webinar, I think we're going to do asset manager, just a little teaser. I think I got lots of feedback on wanting to look at the asset manager. Inventory is another one that came in hot, but we will be doing just a video on that. If it requires that we also do a live webinar, we'll do it. The asset manager, and maybe we might sneak in a little company roadmap webinar, let you guys know what we're up to, what we're looking at for 2024. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining. As always, this is going to be uploaded to YouTube, so anybody who missed it in your office, you'll want to make sure to point them in the direction of that video so that they know what's coming out. Otherwise, reach out to me directly via email if you have any questions, comments, suggestions. We're all for it. We want it to be better for you guys. So awesome. All right. Hope everybody has a good weekend. We'll see you next time.